This AFC North Division Preview Edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code SGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Hey, this is Pac-Man Jones. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, second the money green, with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Hello, NFC or AFC North.
AFC North. We're doing our division previews. Fun way to look back on some of the team previews, highlight some of our favorite bets. We will also be giving out an underdog entry, a 4 team entry, 1 player from each team. That's a nice little icing on the cake, little bonus action there. I mean, I'm just fired up, Ryan. We just recorded last night the Week 0 college football picks podcast. That was a lot of fun.
Can't wait to get to Vegas.
Yeah, I've already checked into our flight for Vegas tomorrow, which means you're checked in as well, Ryan,
Nice.
as you are my companion on Southwest.
Well, and I'm sure we're gonna have that situation since we're bringing the gear. We're doing some live shows from Radio Row at the Circa.
Yep.
And typically, if I get there before you and check a bag, they tell me I have to check in at the gate to make sure my custodian has arrived for the flight.
Yes, and we're also bringing the man in the box,
Ooh.
aka CJ Sullivan from the Bottom Line Bombs podcast. I'm sure we're going to be doing some guest spots on some other podcasts. Bring it on! I already booked a handful of guests.
Really?
For
Ooh,
so the
this is
episodes we're
fun.
going to be doing out at Circa in Las Vegas. We're going to do one just breaking down our formula for the NFL Survivor.
Yes.
And then we're also going to be doing the DGen's Guide to Vegas out in Vegas. We're going to bring on some guests. They each give out like their favorite DGen tip for Las Vegas, and of course, obviously, an NFL bet they like as well. So great. It's just football, man. And shout out to it does feel like the football fans are back. Like people who are just diehards for the regular season are back. Ryan, seeing a lot of people hitting us up, so it's on, baby.
It's the DMs. That's how you start to know. That's when you know football's back. When you just start getting a DM that's like, "All right, buddy, I need you to help me work out this parlay. I already got Chiefs division and UNC national championship.
Oh, man.
What else am I putting in there?"
Some of the parlays, because we definitely had some. Go back and check out the college football playoff
Yes.
episode if you missed that. Fun
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
for the first time ever getting to fill out the college football playoff bracket. Kramer, of course, has been touting his Kyle Juszczyk mini helmet on the show. You
Colby and CJ keep taking it off the set. I got to put it back.
some of the parlays that people did,
Yes.
and I think I'll say this, even from I'm always going to put in a couple long shot plays there to make it spicy, but even that aside, I think because of the 12 team market, and I don't think anyone has a great idea how to price this market yet, especially because there's so many unknowns with the tiebreakers for the conference championships, the auto bid situation, who the committee will favor, in what situations. There's just a ton of unknowns. It's the first time we've had a 12 team playoff. Parlaying different teams together to make the playoff, I think is kind of a fun way. You talk about like a pizza bet, a lottery ticket. Put in ECU, tie them to Iowa. Like there, I think you can have some fun with some crazy parlays in that market. So if you're looking for a DGen opportunity, I think
#Degens only.
now, maybe don't parlay all 12, but certainly like pick 2 of your favorite long shots and put them in there, especially the group of 5. I think the group of 5 wide open. I understand why some of the teams are at the favorites, but Colby made a great case for ECU. Some of these other teams, I think they'll have a shot as well.
I don't think you need to get that cute. The more that I think about this, the more that I am like, the odds are basically assuming we're getting in, not to get too deep into this, but there's an assumption that there's going to be like 7 teams from the Big Ten and SEC in the playoff. And I think the more that I think about how the season's going to play out, the more that it's going to aesthetically going to be very odd to see campaigning for a 3 or 4 loss team.
Yeah.
In one of these. So I'm actually starting to lean into the idea of Big 12 and ACC teams maybe do have a little value. And to your point,
so maybe some of the like the 2-loss ACC team that maybe we didn't put in.
I think there's no way. I think there's a 0% chance the Big 10 or the Big 12 and ACC end up with a total of 2 teams in the playoff. And so I think there's going to be a third, maybe even a 4th team potentially. How the schedules and non-cons work out, but these teams in the big conferences are going to have some L's.
Yeah.
Outside of the very top, I think, and it's going to look like the Coastal in the ACC. Anyway,
Ryan, we
digress.
Yeah, we are in fact here to talk all things National Football League, in particular the AFC North. Yes. We're going to recap our team previews, kind of see if we're going to make any sort of adjustments, and give out our favorite plays from each team preview. We'll start with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Win total 8.5. I had them 11-6. You had them 12-5. Ryan, by my count, yes. I still have. I've used 2 of my wins. Correct.
So I'm seeing you at a.
I need to give out 4 more wins, right?
You need to take away 4 more wins.
What?
Well, you gave wins yesterday.
Yeah, that you told me I had to.
You were
give.
Overweight.
Oh, well,
wow!
What the fuck? You told me.
Wow! Did I screw that up?
You told me you have 6 wins to give out.
Oh wow! All right, I said that backwards. I definitely said that backwards. We'll figure it out.
Okay,
as we go, we'll maybe undo the Patriots win, do some other things. Anyway, yeah, you have 7. How do you have 8 wins to figure? Yeah,
because I thought I had 6 wins to give out, and I was like, I'll burn 2.
We must have crossed our wires, because I think what I meant to say was you have 6 wins to give back.
Yes, you said it backwards.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, I have the Steelers at 11-6. You have them at 12-5. I will not be taking a win away from the Steelers team. If anything, I would maybe lean towards giving them one, but I think 11-6 sounds about right for this Pittsburgh Steelers team.
We're not worried about the quarterback situation.
No, if anything, that makes me like the Steelers team more, because if they were looking really good at the quarterback position, there would be some steam coming in. People would be going, "Oh, hey, maybe the Steelers aren't going to be that bad." This is exactly. I mean, was Kenny Pickett looking good in preseason last year?
I don't feel like he was.
Not.
I get it. And preseason doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but I did want to see a little bit from either quarterback.
I did see a little bit from Justin Fields.
Okay,
you saw the crazy variance that is Justin Fields. I do think he ends up being the quarterback sooner rather than later, because I mean Russ back there has no ability to slide around.
He think also seems hurt.
Yeah, and dealing with that hamstring thing.
Yeah,
and you're older. I do think it's going to be sooner rather than later where we see Justin Fields, and I'm fine with that.
I will say there was a play in that game when I would imagine a guy like Arthur Smith was like, "Oh yeah," when he just tucked the ball and ran, he immediately looks like the best runner on the field. And so to the point of, even though Justin Fields hasn't looked great, there's no way he's not going to be out there. To me, even if it's not a starter, not a starting role. And so I'm kind of still intrigued by this offense. Like we've joked about how the Steelers could just run out Taysom Hill offense and probably be fine. Tomlin would like it that way. Warren being hurt almost simplifies what Arthur Smith needs to do now, which is give the ball to Najee Harris, give the ball to Justin Fields, and let Cordell Patterson loose a little bit.
Yeah, no, I was already tinkering with some week 1 DFS lineups, Ryan, and I mean,
been there, done that.
Najee Harris, how do you not put Najee Harris against this gutless Atlanta Falcons defense? And I mean, my God, the Atlanta Falcons fan base, you guys are making the list.
Oh boy.
I responded to Raheem Morris's decision to ice Michael Penix by saying,
before you say what if you haven't seen the clip, it really does highlight the theme we were trying to get across in the team preview, that this is a team with no leadership,
they have
no organizational structure.
They have no plan. And yes, signing Matthew Judon certainly does make me like their pass rush more. How could it not?
It's what you would do if you were delirious and had a complete misunderstanding of what was about to happen.
Also, I mean, long term, it's a bad idea to give up a 3rd round pick for a guy that you didn't extend. That aside, Raheem Morris is explaining, well, we saw enough out of Michael Penix, and we're not going to play him in these next 2 preseason games. You can mitigate injury. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You supposedly drafted this guy at number 8 overall, which is crazy, kind of in and of its own right. And then your plan to develop him is by not playing him in the preseason game. What world? Like, if you're gonna go the route of, hey, drafting someone in the top 10 and not playing them, Jordan Love got a bunch of preseason reps, but also so did CJ Stroud. Like, young quarterbacks benefit from the preseason, and the responses from these Falcons fans are just insanely stupid. They're writing back, like JJ McCarthy. Well, first off, we don't even know the play that JJ McCarthy tweaked his knee on, and again, that could have happened in practice. Like, it wasn't like he blew out his ACL. Also, Patrick Mahomes is still playing in the preseason. CJ Stroud playing in the preseason. It really, the idea of, hey, I understand if it's a veteran quarterback and you don't want to play them in the preseason, you only want to play them in joint practices. I think I can see a case for both sides on that. What I don't understand is a guy that you don't plan on playing this year, who needs reps, who needs to develop, who needs to see the NFL game, why you would not want to give him NFL action, why you would rather give those snaps to Taylor Heineke. I have no fucking idea. And now you have Kirk Cousins, who coming off an Achilles injury with no real live action to prepare for, and he's going up against TJ Watt and the Steelers defense with a questionable offensive line. My God, Pittsburgh Steelers defensive touchdown.
Fezzik also shipped on the he really liked the Steelers +3 a couple months ago, and now he just shipped on -2.5 for the Falcons.
EB Steelers pointing out, I almost blew out my ACL at Bet Bash. It can happen to anyone, anytime. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Would love to hear that story.
How much do you want to, safety the game? But it gets to my point of this Steelers defense is going to carry the team. They're going to put them in good spots, including week 1. I mean, my favorite play, I'll say it, I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh division at 8-1. I think they're going to be in the mix, all things considered, at the end of the season. I would love the 8-1. I mean, in my scenario, I have them tied with the Bengals at 11-6, Ravens and Browns 10-7. Although I do think I'm going to dock the Browns a win. But yeah, division at 8-1 for the Steelers. Let's go. I mean, I
don't hate that.
We gave out a bunch of. I mean, the over 8.5. Obviously, I like that. Shout out to Brenton, host of the Daily Dog, our underdog themed podcast. He gave out Najee and Jaylen Warren, both to have 1,000 yards. The idea is one of them probably hits, and then you cash. If not, 2 of them, and then you're looking pretty good.
Well, the Najee one that we got down on is not there anymore.
Yeah.
Plus 180 now with the injury. There's a bunch of ways I think you can play it here. I do still believe that Freiermuth's going to get a lot more volume than we're used to him seeing. But I think the way that I'm going to play this, Sean, is that Steelers division win total. I know I sucker for some of these, but that division win total is still 2.5.
Yeah.
When we discussed it on the episode, it was +100. It's now +110. You can get a better price on it. So I think I'll just sit with that. I mean, that almost feels like a cheat code to the Tomlin going 500, but just doing it in a smaller sample in the division. And it's not a super long shot. I like your division play, but I do think this Steelers team's definitely going to go at least 3-3 in the division.
So you got them. So over the division wins, Ryan, is your favorite.
How is that
play?
plus odds? 2.5.
Yeah, I mean they always show up, even in a down year. I think they would still show up for some of these division games. Pittsburgh, obviously, super tough
actually,
place to play.
Defensive player of the year. That's the better.
Defensive player of the year, TJ Watt.
Because I don't have too many of these on. I think I have like a total of 3 defensive player of the years, and this is obviously the chalky one.
Yeah. And defensive player of the year does kind of lean towards chalky stuff anyway. And I feel like we were talking with CJ about this. You kind of have to know the defensive player has to be a household name. Again, that's why I think
he got snubbed last year too.
Yeah, and that's why I think there is at least a chance for Jalen Carter, long shot for the Eagles at 70-1. I think the fact that he was drafted top 10, people know his name enough that I think he's got a shot. But yeah, it does usually end up shaking out fairly chalky. So we are both still on the over, Ryan. You got him 12-5. I got him 11-6. Win total 8.5. And of course, Underdog Fantasy. I'm just checking Underdog Fantasy. They're awesome about some of their bonus promos. Now I'm looking at this promo right now, Ryan, and I'm guessing you're also on the higher. They have a discounted slip in my lobby right now. Will Levis, 199.5 passing yards. My God, what are we doing?
What week? What, just week one?
Yeah. This is just the week one promo,
God.
but yes, Will Levis, 199.5. Gonna fire on the higher there.
They also have Ridley 38.5 receiving yards.
Yeah,
are you kidding me?
I mean some of these discounted ones, and if you haven't gotten your account going yet, what are you waiting for? Sign up now. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. Deposit match up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Highly recommend it. Load up for the new season. And a lot of these, like the promos I just read, some of these they are use it or lose it for NFL Week 1. So use it or lose it. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. We just talked about Circa. We are going to be there, Ryan, in less than 24 hours, hanging out, signing up for the contest. Circa Million, Circa Survivor, 16 million in guaranteed prizes. And of course, a shout out to our proxy, Vegas Maddie. We're going to be using him to sign up. We suggest you guys do the same because you can enter in Nevada, play from anywhere. And Vegas Maddie makes it super easy. Proxy.footballcontest.com. Tell him the promo code SGP, get you $50 off. And you also get a free SGP hat. Get you covered there. 16 million in guaranteed prizes. No rate because Derek is a gentleman. And if you're coming out, come say hi. Hit us up. We're going to have a blast. August 22nd, aka tomorrow through Saturday. Get all the details over at circusports.com.
Just tied Malik Neighbors to that Calvin Ridley number.
Oh yeah,
week 1, we're in.
I mean, AJ Brown. I've been tying a lot of the promos. AJ Brown receiving yards.
Malik Neighbors not a promotional number. 54.5.
Wow.
What? He's getting at least 8 targets. Like how? Do the math.
Right. Cleveland Browns. Their win total is 8.5. Ryan, I had them 10-7. You had them 10-7. This is where I will reduce one of my wins. Get them down to 9 and 8.
Okay, so you have 5 to give.
Yes. Wait, what?
I rolled it back. I rolled back because your changes didn't affect anything yesterday.
Okay.
So you're at 5.
You still need to adjust the Buffalo because if we're looking live at the sheet, I have Buffalo somehow 12-6 on the sheet. So we gotta adjust that one as well. But Cleveland, yes, I'm knocking them down to 9 and 8. I mean the fact that Deshaun Watson hasn't played any of the preseason is just making me more and more skeptical about this Browns team and him being injured, learning with the new offense. I know Stefanski has pulled some miracles, but I just feel like there's going to be a transition maybe from Watson to Jameis at some point.
That's a good thing though, right?
Yeah. But then also I think in that stretch, they're going to be in trouble. And then just even rewatching the clip.
When does that stretch happen?
That's a great question.
I'll take the win away early.
Okay. Yeah. Do it early. Because that's when, and one of my favorite plays is the Deshaun Watson on Underdog. When we gave it out, it was lower passing yards, 3,400.5. I'm just going to give it out as a prop here.
That's your favorite Cleveland Browns prop.
Yeah.
I like it. So you're going full hate.
I mean, it's just, I think there's a world where he plays 17 games and doesn't get here. I think they're going to try and take the ball out of Deshaun Watson's hands. Like it's by hook or by crook.
I'm not touching Deshaun Watson.
They don't want their offense to revolve around Deshaun Watson. It's been so long since Deshaun Watson played at a high level passing yardage wise. Now, yeah, he was 5-1 as a starter somehow last year. I think there's worlds where Stefanski can work around him, but like him putting the team on his back and throwing for a bunch of yards, especially you look at like how many outdoor games they have late. And so that's why I do like their over. But yeah, I got to knock them down to 9-8.
Browns make playoffs. Plus,
okay.
Plus 150. Put that down as my best bet. I just don't know. Like the floor is so high for this team. With Jameis there, I was going to say Jameis most passing yards in the division, 200-1. That is an honorable mention. What if, I mean, how many games does Jameis have to play to have a legit shot here? I guess Burrow needs to.
Well, yeah, it's you need them to get rid of Deshaun Watson, which I think that path is pretty easy. You need Joe Burrow not to play the entire season, which I think is possible. Certainly, them getting rid of Deshaun Watson is the easier part of the parlay if we're looking at it as a parlay. And then Pittsburgh to. I don't even know if you have to really worry that much about Pittsburgh, but clearly he has to play, I think, at least like a dozen games.
Yeah.
Unless you're predicting,
Sean, let's make sure the accounting department frees resources we need a pizza bet on that. We need to make sure that SGPN's invested in Jameis to lead the division in passing yards and touchdowns. 200-1.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not get just a little taste? A little taste.
Yeah. So I mean, I think Browns was one of the teams that was a little bit more surprised that I was higher on, and it only has gotten as I've consumed more Jameis content, it just keeps going higher and higher.
Right.
More of Mike Vrabel content, higher and higher. There's no way this feels a little bit like this. There's no way the Steelers and Browns finish under 500 to me this year.
Yes. Ryan, I'm firing up here on Rhythm. I got a nice little model going.
Oh, nice. Talk
to
your model
for Rhythm, of course, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Get your free 7-day trial. While we're on here, I also built an NFL model where I like running the ball and I like defense, which actually kind of skews towards favoring.
Sound like Tomlin and Arthur Smith.
Well, and that's why I bring it up because right now Rhythm and myself, if you have a look ahead line to the Steelers Colts September 29th. My model and Rhythm's model both like the Steelers to win that game outright in Indianapolis. So again, fun. You can do different versions, right? Like you can have a pound the rock, play defense model, and then you can have a like air it out offensive model. But I'm old school football, so I'm building some old school models. Yeah. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Get your free 7-day trial today. Ryan, what about the Ravens? We both went under. I thought you were going to be over, but you came in at 9-8. I'm at 10-7. What is your any thoughts changed since then? Are you feeling a little weird fading your boy Lamar?
No, I do. I guess where I feel like I'm on the low end with this prognostication here. And I think I mentioned it throughout the show, but I think there is a certain floor with this team, but there's also a lot of things that just have to continue being what they've been with new players, new coaches, etc. And so, yeah, I think the questions about the offensive line, the questions about the defense, questions about some of the areas on the defense, and just natural regression. I'm good with my prediction. If anything, I might have reworked it to be like 10-7, but I'm good with it. I'm good where it landed. I think it makes sense for the AFC North to have a lot of teams that are right around 500.
Yeah, I mean, any of these teams, it's really like I feel like you got to be getting pretty cute if you're gonna. Well, one, I mean, Pittsburgh obviously has the lowest win total, but like, how are you predicting them bottoming out? And then two, even with the Browns, the 8.5 win total, how can you predict them bottoming out when we've seen what this team has been able to do with a backup quarterback, with a well-coached team? With Myles Garrett, with Amari Cooper, like there are some playmakers on that team. It's hard to,
and that's where the Ravens are different because they are replacing things on the offensive line. Sure, Lamar will make it all better, but if the offensive line isn't any better or takes a step back, and then we're back to Derrick Henry not getting, like the speculation was, Derrick Henry's going to have more space to run due to the horizontal nature of the Lamar running game and everything else. But if that doesn't exist, then you look at that receiver room and it's like Zay Flowers and a bunch of dudes. I know there's like weird fantasy hype around Rashad Bateman again this year, but whatever. It's still Nelson Aguilar as far as I'm concerned. And
unlike Aguilar,
and on the defensive side, you have a situation where everyone raves about what they lost, both not only to the Seahawks, but they lost their defensive coordinator in waiting in Weaver to the Dolphins as well. And so there is an element of they got the guy, like they didn't get the guy they wanted. They got the guy they lost almost everyone. And I think the assumption of both the offensive line will be fine, the defense will be fine, maybe, but I just think that creates a little bit more variance this year. And that's why I would bet on them to miss the playoffs.
Okay. So your favorite bet is miss playoffs
plus 210.
Playoffs at plus 210. I'm going to go just under 10.5. For my favorite play for the Ravens, because
a rare win total play.
Well, I mean, again, like I don't like Mark Andrews. There's a
but you love Isaiah Likely.
I do. So maybe I could have went positive with Isaiah Likely. I don't think his numbers were out there when we did the team preview for the Ravens, but under 10.5 wins for the Ravens. To your point, Ryan, like there's a lot that can go wrong. I don't know if I quite feel as strongly about missed playoffs. I mean, Harbaugh is a good coach. There's a world where they're 9-8, 10-7.
Way more safety nets in the Cleveland situation in my mind.
Okay.
And like if you look at the two teams, I feel like, again, this is a lot because I feel fine with Jameis as my quarterback, but I feel a lot stronger about that team having a floor, and maybe I'm being stupid about it because the Ravens have kind of been solid, but I don't know. There does seem to be enough reasons to question what this team will look like in a tough division.
All right, so we're both fading the Ravens, Ryan. Wow, what a day where we decide to fade the Ravens. Last team, and then of course, so we got our underdog play. Cincinnati Bengals. I came in at 11-6, drinking a little of that Burrow Kool-Aid. Ryan, not high on the Bengals at all. 9-8, have them going under the win total 10.5 by 1.5 games. Ryan, what is your favorite play for the Cincinnati Bengals?
Well, and again, like I think if you look at the standings for this division, I'm pretty sure I have all the teams finishing 9-8 and 10-7, 9-8 or better. I guess the Steelers are a bit of an outlier for me. Yeah, I thought my favorite way to play this division, and again, we are playing their most return touchdowns. Not my favorite bet, but just want to remind people of that.
Yes, any of the long shot most return touchdowns we are on.
But I would also play miss playoffs for the Bengals. I think my favorite way to play this division is buy the two teams at the bottom and sell the two teams at the top. And I think, maybe we don't hit both Baltimore and Cincinnati, but where the price is at, I think one of these two teams is not in the playoffs this year. And so I'll lean into that one. I mean, again, I think Burrow creates a certain floor if he's good.
So you're going miss playoffs, Ryan.
Yeah.
Okay. And you got what's the price you're giving out there?
I can look at an updated one. It was 2-1 when we did it on the show.
All right. I'm going. I do feel pretty good about them in the regular season.
205 now, so it's gotten even better.
I do feel pretty good about them in the regular season, but I'm going to go Cincinnati Bengals to win the AFC at 7-1.
Whoa.
I think as long as they get in, I mean, Joe Burrow, you look at consistency in the playoffs, consistency on the ability to win on the road, the team they have around him. I think, I'm fine. Joe Burrow, every time he's gotten into the playoffs, which has been 2 out of the 4 years, rookie year didn't. And then last year where he finished injured, Jake Browning almost got them into the playoffs, but both years he got into the playoffs, he won multiple games. And then of course got to the Super Bowl in one of those 2 years. So if he gets in, I think they win multiple games. So I think having a Bengals to win the AFC at 7-1 is going to feel pretty good. And even feeling a little better now that I saw Travis Kelce is going to be at Happy Gilmore 2. Filming starts in 2 weeks.
What?
This guy's priorities, Ryan, are really out of whack. Yeah. And I love Happy Gilmore, all-time great movie. And I even like some
no way it's going to be good.
Yeah, I mean, and I even don't mind some of this like Uncut Gems. I liked some of these later Sandler stuff I've liked, but Happy Gilmore 2, like in what world is that good? And it's going to be annoying because the first one was such a classic. Like anytime you make a sequel, 25 years after the fact, like how is it going to be good?
If anyone can knock it off or do it right, it's Adam Sandler. I mean, he's just grabbing bags. Yeah. Respect. I mean,
Chris Brady saying, "Are you concerned with Burrow's hand at all?" Yeah, certainly. I mean,
elbow or shoulder.
Well, but he looked pretty sharp.
Or hair.
No, I'm not concerned about the hair. Again, if you've been to Cincinnati, being bored and dyeing your hair blonde totally makes sense. I liked what I saw in the preseason game. To me, he looked healthy enough, and the fact that they're starting off a season without him being injured is a nice change of pace for this Bengals team. And I think there's there's some doubters hating on Cincinnati, so I kind of like them either to make a run late, but I also think they'll be okay in the regular season. But definitely feel good about them come playoff time.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the concern is more just about this defense. We've seen this defense buoy between being bad, average, really good season, and then back to bad. And so it seems to me more likely that we see this defense hover between bad and maybe average. And we'll see. I mean, when the year that Burrow took him to the Super Bowl, they were 16th in DVOA. And so that was him kind of having his peak year on offense. So if that doesn't happen, what do they need to be? Are they a top 10 unit on the defensive side? Almost absolutely not for me. So good luck, Sean.
Thank you. I appreciate you wishing me good luck. And
just wanted to say that before the boat left. We didn't quite finish the hull, but hopefully it makes it across the Atlantic.
I saw in the chat they're talking about Happy Gilmore 2, Ryan. We actually were on a plane once from Burbank to Las Vegas with
#Legends only.
The guy who plays Shooter McGavin, which was a real treat to see him on a fellow Southwest flight.
Yeah, he was it was a Vegas flight, right?
Yeah, it was a flight to Vegas. Immediately booked it right as the plane landed. Maybe he had to get out to a hot table or maybe the slot machine.
That reminded me of the time we saw Rich Eisen like full sprint to the cab line.
Yeah, shout out to Rich Eisen.
I was trying to get down for March Madness,
We're going to give out our favorite underdog play, connecting one player from each team. Before we do that, of course, shout out to Game Time, our favorite play when it comes to getting tickets, concerts, comedy, more obviously sports. I mean, we just did college football week 0. If you want to get to a college football week 0 game, you can find some dirt cheap prices, and you want to go check out some Nevada football. Maybe you're up in the Reno area. Shout out to Reno. You can get in. I mean, you can select the all-in pricing. Yesterday was $9. Looks like the $9 seats are gone, but you can get in row 5, $18. That's go. Right. Row 5. Well, come on. That's a great view.
It's only 4 rows in front of you.
GameTime.co or download the Game Time app. Great for concerts too. I saw the Dead and Company at the Sphere in Las Vegas. You can get some UFC tickets for the Sphere, which is going to be pretty awesome. I've seen some of the videos of what they're going to be doing. Those tickets are not cheap, but hey, you get $20 off when you use Game Time and our promo code SGPN and use Game Time because you're getting the best price. If you can find a cheaper price, same row, same section for less, they'll refund you 110% of the difference. AKA they're not going to do that because they know they got the best prices. GameTime.co or download the Game Time app. Use the promo code SGPN. All right, Kramer. Here's where the rubber hits the road. Putting together our underdog fantasy lineup.
Where do you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, do we start from what we agree on, probably with the Steelers stuff, and then work our way up?
What's the Steelers stuff that you agree on? We agree on. Well, which angle do you? Well,
that's interesting because it seemed like we were on board with them running the ball, but now. No, Jalen Warren being a little banged up. All right, so we got numbers on Russell Wilson, George Pickens, Pat Freiermuth, T.J. Watt, Najee Harris.
I would say it's it's anyone but Russ.
You're not letting Russ cook.
Najee Harris rushing yards, that's fine.
Okay.
T.J. Watt sacks higher, that's fine.
I love T.J. Watt, but 15. What is it? Said it's like 15 and.
What do you mean? I mean, I'm already on the defensive player of the year.
15.25. I like Najee Harris at 825.5, especially with the Jalen Warren.
So TJ Watt 19.5.5 in 2022 when he only played 10 games, and then 22.5 in 2021, 15. Yeah, so he's gotten over that. He's gotten higher than that in projection in 2 of his 7 seasons.
I mean, I'm fine with it, but I do feel like the Najee. I mean, because TJ Watt could have an awesome year and have 15 sacks. Najee Harris 825.5, like especially with.
That's the number.
Especially with Jalen Warren missing maybe like the first couple games. I'm surprised they haven't adjusted this. So yeah, I will definitely take higher 825.5. So we're in agreement, Ryan, for leg 1.
I like your Browns play too. If they're still offering the Watson number 34.
Okay. Let's see here what we got for the Browns. Right now I'm seeing Amari Cooper, Deshaun Watson. Yeah, the Deshaun Watson passing yards 3,400.5. I feel like we got to go lower, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, what are we missing here?
It's part of our. I mean, just even if he plays or doesn't play, I like this.
Yeah, like there's just a million ways to get there. Totally in on that one. So we got Deshaun Watson lower passing yards. Najee Harris higher rushing yards, and then looking to the Ravens. This Ravens one's going to be interesting. Lamar, there's a ton of options for Lamar. Derrick Henry, Mark Andrews.
Zay Flowers is the play for me.
Zay Flowers. What do you like? Zay Flowers.
We've had this conversation. Year 2, wide receivers always going to be something I'm into. And then you look at what he did last year: 108 targets, 77 receptions, 858 yards. What is in this receiver room that's making you worried that he can't run back the same exact thing?
So we're not taking Mark Andrews lower receiving touchdowns.
No, because that's the exact kind of thing that he could randomly have.
All right, I don't mind the Zay Flowers.
We need Zay Flowers to get 68 more yards than he got last year. That seems like a high likelihood to me.
I'll concede that. Zay
Year
Flowers,
2 of Todd Monken offense.
Zay Flowers higher 925.5 receiving yards, and then we're gonna a little icing on the cake with the Cincinnati Bengals. What do we do here, Ryan? Because you're anti-Bengal.
No, but what I did like on the show is the idea that whether or not you think Zach Moss is going to be the guy, he's going to be the goal line guy.
Oh yeah, rushing touchdowns.
And I like Chase Brown too, but I think Zach Moss, talking to people who follow the team, like Zach Moss was brought in to give them the physicality in the red zone that they lost with Mixon. Bottom line.
Yeah, you can talk me into the Zach Moss higher.
Yeah, I don't
6.5 rushing touchdowns.
Just a touchdown play.
Okay. So we officially Najee Harris higher 825.5 rushing yards. Deshaun Watson lower 3,400.5 passing yards. Zay Flowers higher 925.5 receiving yards, and Zach Moss higher 6.5 rushing touchdowns.
How many touchdowns did Zach Moss have on the Colts last year? Playing, starting 8 games and playing in 14, but obviously Taylor came back.
I'll say 6.
5.
Okay.
So
yeah, and I'm with you. Now. Like I don't see anyone else.
No AR-15s just sniping away those touchdowns early in the season.
Yes. Looks like I'm feeling good about that underdog fantasy entry. And we got it entered in over on the sheet, ready to go. We're going to be talking a little. We will do a week 3 preseason picks episode for the hardcore DGens. And then what do we got coming up tonight, Ryan?
Well, we're doing another we got 2 more episodes today.
Yes, so the preseason in the afternoon.
But then we got again, what comes after N in the alphabet? Well, I think that's South.
Okay.
Talking about our AFC South.
Ooh. And maybe I will be bumping up the Tennessee Titans because I have yes, I got some adjustments, some tinkering to do.
You're going to take some wins away and give some wins out.
Oh yeah.
So you have 5 to give now.
Okay.
Update for
updated
the grinders out there.
For everyone keeping track at home. Yeah, thank you. And of course, check out all 32 NFL team previews, collect one word in each episode and then submit it, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/phrase. one lucky winner will get a $500 NFL Circa ticket. That's going to be an awesome. Cannot wait to give that out. Shout out to Weehawk, who just won last week's Patreon pick. Got a $100 NFL Circa ticket ready to fire. Ryan, can you guess what he wants me to get down on him for his ticket?
I don't think they have FCS stuff, do they?
He wants ECU to make the college football playoff.
Really? Is there a price?
I have not confirmed it, so hopefully they offer that over at Circa. I know they have a bunch of teams. I don't know if they go all the way down to East Carolina, but we believe
we'll get Benson on it.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get some of these other long shot teams on there, and we'll be back talking preseason and then another division preview. Football is here, and one final thing: football promo code at the SGPN store, 10% off everything.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean. At Second the Money Green, he's Ryan.
Will Levis lather tonight.
Kramer, let it ride.